This is Mike. He is an honest, hardworking American. Mike is married and has a small baby. He is a good father and a great employer. Mike is just a very likable guy. He used to work as a systems engineer for one of the biggest corporations in America. He was training other people, performing well, and things looked good for the future. Until one day.
When I found out that I was getting laid off the day before my wedding, it was very stressful. It's already stressful having a wedding. I'd taken the day off so I could get my tuxedo and so that we could get everything arranged with the caterers and the cake. But then to have something that major on top of it.
Just like that, Mike was axed from his job the day before his wedding. Thanks for your service, Mike. This is Mike's beautiful wife. I can't imagine how you tell a bride-to-be, "Honey, I lost my job from a Fortune 500 company today."
It was the day before our wedding. I was crying, actually, and couldn't believe that this happened the day before our wedding. Not a very good way to start off your marriage.
On the honeymoon, the whole time I was, calling, trying to get a hold of people because I was off the day. They let everyone redeployment, the euphemism they use there.
Did I hear that correctly?
Redeployment, the euphemism they use there.
Redeployment? They make it sound like you're in the Army.
Well, I was off the day that they put everyone on redeployment. I didn't know if I was redeployed or if I'd be redeployed after I got back. So it was trying to get a hold of people in HR while at the same time we're trying to enjoy our honeymoon.
We went to Orlando, Florida for 2 weeks for our honeymoon, and it was very stressful for the fact that he was trying to find another position at Intel while we were on our honeymoon and trying to enjoy one another. The phone was ringing. He was stressed out. We were arguing with each other, and then meanwhile trying to be happy as well that we just got married.
Intel did find him another job, but it was never the same again. Mike said that rounds of layoffs still continued and that it was only a matter of time before he would lose his job yet again. And as if that was not enough, not long after, Michelle got some bad news herself.
I was laid off from Krispy Kreme in February of 2005.
Save me!
I didn't think that that was going to happen, but we had decided together that I would try and give working at Dream Arcades a shot, both of us, and then grow the business from there.
So Mike decided it was time to start his own business building old school arcade games. He first started out of his garage, but now he works out of this small warehouse.
I actually started, Michelle, my wife, wanted a Miss Pac-Man arcade machine, a cocktail version for Christmas. And I like Miss Pac-Man, but it's not one of my favorite games. I definitely like a lot of the other games better. So I built a machine that could play not only Miss Pac-Man, but a lot of other classic arcade games too. And friends of ours come over and saw one, and they wanted one, and we had some spare parts lying around, so I pretty much started the company with some spare parts and a few $100.
According to the Entertainment Software Association, the U.S. computer and video game industry grew more than 17% from 2003 to 2006. This number is higher than what the U.S. economy grew during the same time period. Software sales in the U.S. reached over $7 billion in 2006 and is expected to reach around $11 billion in 2008. It's also interesting to note that 24% of Americans over the age of 50 play video games. Hardware and software sales combined may reach an astonishing $18 billion in 2008. This is more than what moviegoers spent at the box office in 2007. Now you know why Hollywood turns games into movies.
Let's say they place the order online. We will print up the order, and it goes on in an ordering queue where we list all the customers. We will cut the arcades here on site, and the parts come out. Basically, the holes are pre-cut, so they're pretty easy to assemble. The controls are all wired here, and any customization such as lighted buttons, if people want special button color layouts, we can do that as well. And those are done on a case-by-case basis. We wire it all up, put it all together. There's about a 60-point checklist QA for testing. We leave the systems burning anywhere from 2 to 3 days, kind of doing a burn-in. We get a flame here, that's one of the fun parts. And they're QA'd actually 3 times throughout the process. We're really trying to bring in the nostalgia and the history of playing games, the classic games. We try to make our arcades look as much as possible as the arcades people played with when they were kids.
And if you wonder what the experience is like, well, All the good old classics are there, minus the quarters and tons of games jam-packed in one machine. I could have spent days hanging out in Mike's warehouse, but fortunately family duties call. These are all fun things, but running your own business can be challenging.
I think our healthcare costs for me and my wife and our baby run $900 a month.
I usually take all the sales emails, and Mike will take more of the support emails, but that consumes a good part of our evening every night, 7 days a week.
No emails from 7 to 10 p.m. But then after 10 p.m., I'm back on email.
I also wondered if they ever looked back at their big corporate jobs.
No, I've never thought about going back to Krispy Kreme, no.
Certainly when I first began, had concerns about leaving. Intel's a very prestigious company, and I had a very nice job there that I really enjoyed. So it was very scary leaving.
Scary indeed. Even President Bush II admitted in 2006 that outsourcing does hurt Americans. The president said that instead of protecting American jobs, Americans should rather be educated to fill the jobs of the 21st century. Is it about education or cheaper labor? So I asked Mike what he thought of outsourcing, and I was stunned at his response.
I've known people who personally were told that they were hiring people to assist them for jobs, and then they trained people to do their jobs, and then found out that they were actually training their own replacements. And when you see that, it makes you kind of upset that what's going on. But then at the same time, I have worked with people who were engineers from India and met them personally. And when you meet them, you realize they're just like you. They're human beings, and they've got families. And the engineers that we would hire from India, usually they had double masters. They were qualified, and it just makes sense. This is capitalism. It's the way things work.
Mike had a dream and fulfilled it despite incredible obstacles. He and his wife are what I call true Americans.